So when we look at coordinate geometry, we want to find a pattern, okay? And when to find the pattern, we need to be able to plot points in the coordinate plane. So we want to write these as ordered pairs. So when you have -6, +3, okay, I need to write those as an ordered pair. Okay, so -6, we write ordered pairs like this, -6, +3. Okay, so make sure you understand how to write these coordinate pairs. Now, we can probably use the grid, to sort of the table, just to draw the points, but again, just making sure we understand how to express these as coordinate pairs and how, when we see coordinate pairs, to recognize them as coordinate pairs is important. Okay, so when I graph these, I'm going to go for -6, +3, -2, +1, 0, 0, 4, -2, 8, -4, and we see a straight line pattern. And for what we're going to deal with, not that there's only straight line patterns, but what we're going to deal with is mainly straight line patterns. So we need to be able to find be able to use the coordinate plane and understand that it's x first, then y. So when we find this, label the coordinates with coordinate pairs, okay, we need to make sure we label them correctly. So we're going to go for a stop sign, 4 to the right, 3 up. Well, right is +4. Remember, these are number lines. Up is positive, so we end up +3. Okay, so when I say 3, -2, I'm going to go 3 in the positive direction. -2 means I go down. So there's my object at 3, -2, and it is an umbrella. The soccer ball is at 0, 0. Okay, it's right at 0 on the number line horizontally, right at 0 on the number line vertically. And it's something that we call the origin. So if I want to graph a relationship, I want to generate a table of values. The equation, the table, and the graph are all connected. When I make a table, I always should make sure I have the starting point. Okay, when x is 0, my y coordinate is going to be 4. Now, when I plot points here, I'm not going to go up by 1s because of that divide by 2. I really should go up by 2s or 4s. So I'm going to go up by maybe 2. So I'm going to go up 2, 4, 6. So here I'm going to end up with 7, 10, and looks like 13 here. Okay. So my points are going to be at 0, 4, 2 over 7 up, 4 over 10 up. That's going to be up here. Okay, the other point's not going to fit in there, but essentially, so it's going to be 4 over 10 up, so somewhere around here. Okay, and then it's going to give us this nice pattern. If I go backwards too, I could use that slope to go backwards as well to generate this nice straight line pattern. And that's what describes this line, is this angle and where that line is positioned. So what is the value of y when x is 6? Well, I can kind of see it's kind of off my graph. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just plug it in. Because if I have a coordinate, I know it has to fit into my equation. So y equals 3 over 2 x plus 4. I can actually solve for x. So I end up with 2 equals 3 over 2x. Okay, I'm going to times by 2. Okay, so I end up with 4 equals 3x. Divide by 3. I end up with an x coordinate of 4 over 3. So x is, that's when y is 6. When x is 6, I just plug it in. So same idea. I'm going to plug in the x coordinate into my equation. X is 6, and I can calculate the y value. So in this case, I get y is equal to 13, okay, which is about right if I were to kind of extend this graph. If I were to graph this relation, there's two things I can do. I can just kind of plug in points. I can just, plug in x is 0. Zeros are nice points to plug in. Okay, so I really should have an x is 0 coordinate. So an x is 0, y is 3. Okay, but I could also do this. I could also put it into solve for y. So I can subtract 2x from both sides. So I get negative 2x plus 3. And by doing that, it allows me to use that idea of that I can see slope in a position on the graph. And I can start plugging in points here when x is 1, y is equal to 1, x is 2, y is equal to negative 1. I'm going to jump a little bit. X is 4, y is going to be 8. Negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. Okay, so I have my coordinates here, 1, 1, okay, 2, negative 1, 4, negative 5, okay, down here, and it's generating this straight line pattern. So although it's not written in the slope-intercept form, I can still rearrange it to slope-intercept form, or even when I'm stuck, I can still just plug in values into my table and work out my pattern.